Fine. So I hope my screen is visible. We are at unit number 4. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if we recall our discussion, we started our discussion with Servlet and we have gone through the various topics. Started with the Servlet is dynamic web page technology, web page development technology. And we said that servlets are good because they work on the thread based model. And we said servlets or any Java web application uses the application server and maintains the dynamic and static pages. Along with that, we said init, service, and destroy are the basic methods. Web.xml is known as deployment descriptor, which is used to maintain internal and external alias regarding your servlet. As well, we have learned what are the types of servlet. We said we can develop a servlet by implementing servlet interface, or we can go with the generic servlet class, or we can go with the HTTP servlet class. We also discussed what is the difference between get and post, and we studied how the configuration parameter can be saved as an init parameter for a single servlet and context parameter for a whole application, right? And we said servlet context and servlet config are the interfaces which are used to access the values of configuration parameters stored inside your deployment descriptor. Last session, we discussed about what is attribute, right? We said the objects which are used or which can be get, set, and remove, and which can be passed from resource to resource are known as attribute. And we said there are three scope. It could be a request scope, session scope, or application scope. Fine. We also discussed what are the methods related to it. We said set attribute, get attribute, remove attribute, and get init parameter are parameter names are the method for it. Along with that, in last session, we also discussed about request dispatcher. And we say request dispatcher is used to pass the user request from one resource to another resource. And the resource could be an HTML file, servlet, or JSP. So from servlet, you want to go anywhere, any specified resource, you can use forward or include method. We discussed that forward method does not include the intermediate output, whereas the include method combines the output, or you can say combines the response, and then final response will be sent to the client. Fine. This was the last time discussion, and along with that, we discuss about send redirect, and we said send redirect is used to go from your application to some other device, so you can work inside and outside servers using the send redirect. Fine. We also discussed the forward and send redirect methods differences, right? I guess we are done with the filters also. Yes or no? Are we done with the filters? Can anyone tell me? Are we done with the filters? I guess yes. Can anyone tell me? Okay, Sakshi and Udayraj is saying yes, we have gone through the filters. So filters are the object for pre-processing and post-processing. And we use filters because they are pluggable and they decreases the maintenance cost. Fine. So we explore filter interface, filter chain interface, and filter config. We seen an example which was authentication filter, where we have used the init, destroy, and do filter method, right, of the servlet interface. As well, we use do filter method of filter chain, right. So this was the discussion last time, and today we are going to start with the new topic, right, which is about session tracking. So, before I begin today's session, is there doubt in the previous session? Anyone? Check out the previous session and ask me if you have any query or doubt in the previous session. Anyone having any query, any doubt? You may raise your query. Kindly acknowledge, say yes or no. Any doubt in the previous session? Guys, I'm talking to you, entire class. Can I have the acknowledgement regarding last session? Waiting for your reply. Okay, Sakshi and Michelle saying no. Okay, Uday is saying clear. Anand is also replying. Shyam is also replying. Okay, fine. So I got many replies, even Darshan. Fine. So let us move today with the fresh discussion of session tracking. But before that, this is question. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to learn what is session tracking, why it is required, right? As well, we are going to learn what are the techniques for session tracking, right? And we will discuss we'll see the demonstration of the program, and we'll discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of this respective session management techniques, right? So this is the discussion of today. Session tracking, why it is required, what are the different techniques available, why should we do it, and we'll see the demo program and discuss advantage and disadvantage of each and every session tracking techniques. But before I move to that discussion, I have a question for everyone. Can anyone define the characteristics of HTTP? What is HTTP? What is HTTP? Anyone? Sakshi is saying it's a protocol. Yeah, perfect. That's a protocol.
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yeah, that's a full form or a kind of introduction. But what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics? Which label protocol it is? OSI model. Which label? Can we define the label? ISO OSI model of network. Are you getting my question, guys? Whatever you know about HTTP, just tell me. These people are Cisco certified, right? You have done the Cisco certification in your labs of computer networks. Can't we give 2, 3 characteristics of HTTP? Sakshi is saying its port number of HTTP is 80. Yeah, perfect. It works on the port number 80. What else? What else? TCP layer. What is this layer for? I don't guess there's any layer which is named as TCP layer. Is there any layer which is named as TCP layer? Anyone? Sakshi Singh application layer. Yes, that's right. It's an application layer protocol. Anyone else wants to give any input? We only know the full form, and that's not good. Only full form will not give you the understanding. Ronak is saying connectionless protocol. Okay. What else? What else? We know that major characteristics of HTTP is that it is stateless. It is stateless. Can anyone tell me what is statelessness? When I say something is stateless, what does it mean? What do you mean by statelessness? Some protocols are stateful and some are stateless. So, what do you mean by stateless? Connection oriented or connection less? Few are saying connection less, few are saying connection oriented. It means that you are not clear with your networks. Yes or no? Anyways, I'm interested in one characteristics of HTTP which says HTTP is text based simple protocol which is stateless. Which is stateless. And when I say stateless, what do you mean by stateless? What is state of user? Anyone having idea what is state of user? When I say HTTP is stateless, what does it mean? How it affects the web development? Now we are very well clear with the point that when we are having any web application, what happens is a very simple scenario that user or a client will send a request, right? And that request will traverse through, you can say, network, right? And through network, it will go to the server. Fine. This was the discussion till last lecture or lab we discussed that each and every uh, request and response which happens is happening through user request and user response. And usually, when I say client server technology, the client and server talks with each other with the application layer. And application layer is the topmost layer. And when I say application layer is topmost layer, client will send the request through the network, right, to the server. Server will process the request and server will give back the response to client. And this request and response is happening specifically when you are using the web application. You are sending a request through your browser. You are sending a request through your browser. And when you are sending the request through your browser, right, your request and response are being carried in HTTP protocol. It is being carried through HTTP protocol. Agree or not? Agree? Right? Right? Now, when I say this, what does I mean by it is each and every request made by user is a new request, right? It simply means that if I am using a Gmail, right, and if I click somewhere, right, and if I see something, right, suppose I have click on some email, right, and if I'm going through again second time, if second time I click on the chat, or I go to the snooze, or I go to my meetings, each and every click happening over here, each and every click happening over here is a new click, right? Is a new request. Whatever click I make is a new request. And these requests are being passed through the application layer protocol HTTP. And that's why you can see in the URL, we are writing HTTP google.com. This is saying inbox. It's saying inbox. When I click on chat, it says hashtag chat. When I click on my meetings, it says hashtag calls. Fine? Fine? As well, draft or everywhere. Whenever I go, it's a new request. It's something which is a new program running on the server, right? And we know that through the database connectivity, we are getting this response. So when I have this scenario, actually, the user request is going through the HTTP, and HTTP is stateless. And when I say stateless, it means that it does not maintain any state or data of an user. Are you getting the point? We are saying that HTTP does not maintain any state of the user. If any state of the user is not maintained by the protocol, then each request which you do to your website, which you send to your website, it is treated as a new request, right? It means that you have login, your login is checked, then server forgets who you are. But actually, to go to your inbox, you should have some identity, user identity over the server, right? Are you getting the point? What I'm saying is each request is new request. So first you're doing login to your Google. When you're doing login to your Google, your login will be checked. And when your login is checked and you are valid, your server forgets who you are. But actually, as an application user, you want your inbox, right? And now when you are at your inbox, you'll find email, list, unread, and read everything. You're reading one mail, so you're clicking on it. When you're clicking on it, again, requests go to the server. Server process the request and forgets you who you are. So there's no continuity in maintaining the data, and each request is being treated as a new request. So it is hard to recognize user request over the server, because this happens because HTTP is stateless. And as a state HTTP is stateless, it is programmer's responsibility to maintain the state of or data of a user. So maintaining the state or data of an user is known as session management. And session management is applicable to all the web development technology. It's not like session management is with Servlet. Session management is with JSP, which is our next unit, with PHP, ASP.NET, any web development technology you take, session management is there. Fine? Fine? Are you getting the point? What is session management? Session management is to maintain the user state, or you can say user's data. Why we want to do that? Because HTTP protocol is stateless, right? It is stateless, and that's why each time user send request to the server treats it as a new request. So we need to maintain the state of a user to recognize the particular user. Fine? And that's why we do have session management tracking or session tracking. Fine? Fine? Have you gone through the session tracking ever? When you open any website in your mobile, usually with mobile, it happens a lot. What it asks you? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? Any new website, when you open, what it asks you? Anyone? Yes? Yes? What it asks to you? Accept the cookie. Eva is saying, Anand is saying, accept the cookie. Right? Now, what is cookie? Right? Udayraj is also saying, Michelle is also saying that it's asked for cookie. Obviously, it asks for cookie. And when you accept it, cookie will be saved in your machine. And cookie is a session tracking technique. Why website does that? Because they want to recognize you. And once they recognize you, the request and response will be faster. Fine? Fine? So this is what a session tracking means. So basically, there are 4 techniques for the session tracking: cookies, hidden form field, URL writing, and HTTP session. Okay, we are going to discuss all of this, and we are going to learn how to implement it through the move further. Can anyone talk more about the cookies? Anyone having the idea? What is cookie? What is cookie? Anyone? Where it will be saved? Any idea? Sakshi is saying small file which includes information about the user. Yeah, Sakshi, you're right. Small, but not file. It's a variable. Okay? Cookie is not a file, but it's a variable. When you set cookie, actually you set the variables. Okay? So let us talk more about the cookie and let us learn how it works. Michelle is saying cookie are stored websites data in storage. So when we load it second time, it takes less time. Exactly, Michelle. Exactly, it happens like that. And let me make you clear that your cookies will be saved inside the cache memory of your browser usually, because cache is the fastest memory, right? And that's why cookie will be exactly Sakshi. It will be stored at the client side. This is important point. So look at here. Cookie in servlet, as your friends have said, cookie is a small piece of information, right, that is persistent between the multiple client requests. In short, it is stored at the browser, client's browser. So as a cookie is a small piece of information, it will have name, values, optional attributes such as comment, path, sometime domain qualifier, maximum age, which is the lifetime, for how longer your cookie will be available, and at times the version, right? So these all are the characteristics of a cookie, or the variables which could be probably saved when you are saving cookie in your machine. By default, as I said, each request is new request. Look at the diagram. What happens? Client sends the request number 1 to the server. Server gives response plus cookies, right? And that's why when you are getting the first response, your browser in the mobile asks, do you want to accept the cookies? And when you say yes, you're giving permission to store the cookie in the cache of the browser. Usually it's in the cache of the browser. Fine. So when you accept it, right, it will be saved in your browser. Now, second time when you click somewhere, or you do something with that website, which is a new request, this time your request will not go alone, but it will carry your identity. It will carry your identity in the form of cookie variable, right? So what will be done? If the request is sent by the user, cookie will be added in the response by default, and that's why your server will recognize that this is old user because cookie is having the value. Fine? Clear, everybody? Any doubt or question? Clear? We'll see how to set the variables, but first of all, the concept of cookie is clear. Should I move forward? Should I move forward? Okay. So there are two types of cookies. Non-persistent cookies and persistent cookies. Now, when I say non-persistent, it is valid for a single session only, right? Single session only. So it is removed each time when user closes the browser. If you close the browser, your cookie will be removed. This is called single session cookies. But there could be some cookies which are valid for multiple sessions, right? Which are valid for multiple session. And it is not removed each time when user closes the browser, but it is removed when user is log out or sign out, right? Non-persistent cookies, single session. So you close the browser, cookie data gone. Persistent cookie, valid for multiple session. Fine? It is valid for multiple session. Now, I have a question for you. Everybody, think about it and answer me. We have Sonic Wall, right? Which is maintaining your data, right? User identity is maintained, your login, enrollment number and password. Which type of the tracking it is? Persistent or non-persistent? Sonic Wall, how it manages the data of your login? In a persistent way or non-persistent way? Are you getting the question? Right? Look at the definition. Single session are non-persistent and multiple session are persistent. Can you tell me, Sonic Wall, in your login, you are in lab, you are using some PC, you logged in. It is persistent, Anand is saying. What about others? Anand is saying it is persistent. Michelle is saying persistent. Can I know the reason? Unmute yourself and tell me why it is persistent. Why you feel so that it's persistent? Sonic Wall, which is being used for the tracking your identity. Michelle and Anand are saying that it is persistent. It is persistent. So I'm asking why you feel so.
To manage the session for the multiple users.
Sorry?
To save this session data for multiple users.
Uh, can you elaborate? I mean, if you could. I'm not getting your point. That's why.
Means when we log into that Sonic Wall,
Hmm.
we can save that user. Means that user is logged in, so they can access the internet.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the functionality. But how it defines it's persistent or not non-persistent? I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose you are sitting in lab number 1 and you logged in over there and you forgot to log out. You forgot to log out and you are going to you close the browser, right? You have closed the browser without sign out. Will it allow you to use the username and password from your laptop? Will it allow you? It gives you the error, right? Multiple login happening. Sign out first. Multiple login not allowed. Have you faced that? Right? Have you faced that?
Yes,
Right?
yes,
That's why it is persistent. Why it is persistent? Because user must have to log out or sign out. Then and then it will be removed. And once it is logged out or sign out, then and then you are recognized or you are allowed to use it a second time. Simply if you are closing the browser, it won't work. It won't work. That's why we say SoniQual is using the persistent cookies. Fine. I hope everybody is clear. Should I move forward? Should I move forward? This is very much important concept, so try to learn it in a more clear way. In interview, you may have the question like this. Okay, so if we discuss about the advantages of cookies, cookies is very simple technique to maintain the state in the sense maintain the data of a user. And cookies are maintained at client side as just before few minutes. I guess Swati and Anand, Sakshi said that it is saved at the client side. That's absolutely right, and it is advantage. It is being saved at the client side. But the disadvantage is it will not work if cookie is disabled from the browser. Suppose you implemented few functionality which is totally based on cookie, but in client's browser cookies are disabled. If cookies are disabled, in that case few functionality or few code will not work because the control or the storage is happening at the client side, and if client has disabled the cookies from the browser, it will not work. Okay. And one more advantage is that it is used only for the textual information. Only text based information can be set inside a cookie object. Okay, so this was the theory regarding the cookie. Now we are going to see the code how we can go and implement cookies in Servlet. So in Servlet there is a class which is named as cookie, and this cookie class is having two constructor. So you have to import java x.servlet.http.cookie where C is capital. Fine. And it provides you the functionality to use the constructor and methods which are related to cookies. So there are two constructors. One is the default constructor, which is no argument constructor. And another one is the parameterized constructor, which takes cookie name and cookie value in the string format, right? String name and string value. These are the cookie variable name and value parameter being passed to your parameterized constructor cookie. Fine. Now, these are few useful methods. You can use set max age, right? You can specify an integer value, and this integer value is the lifetime or availability of cookie in the seconds. This integer number provides you the seconds, how many seconds the cookies will be available. Another thing we have is public string get name, which is returning you the name of cookie, right? Which cannot be changed once it is created because you are setting it inside the client machine, and that's why once it is created, you can't change the cookie variable. The second thing is get value. to read the value of the cookie. Set name. Suppose you want to change the name of a cookie, right? And set value. You can set the value of a cookie. So you can say set max age, get and set name, and get and set value. Okay, these are the uh, 5 important methods of cookies. Now, look at the diagram. What we have to do is, once when user is sending request to server will give response along with the cookie creation. So it means that we will, when user request is coming and we are processing it for the first time, what we will do is, we'll add the cookie object. We'll create a cookie object, right? And that cookie object we will add to response. So it will be there in the client machine. Now, next time when user is second time clicking somewhere, we are sending the second request. So at that time, server has to get the cookie. Are you getting are you getting the point? What we are saying is, when user is requesting for the first time, in the response will add the cookie object. Now, second time when user will send request to server, this time cookie will be automatically added. So we will get those cookie at the server side, right? And when no more required, we can delete the cookies through the server code. So here are the methods. Add cookie. As I said, we need to add the cookie in the response. So what you will do is, first you will create a cookie object. Let us say you created cookie ck is my object, equal to new cookie. And we are giving the name user and we are giving some name Sonu Jaiswal. Fine. Now, this I need to add in the response as per the diagram. The first response will contain this object. So I'll say response.add cookie, right? When I say response.add cookie, the cookie object will be set inside the browser of a client. The another method which we have is public get cookies. At times it happens that we may have multiple cookies saved inside the browser, or when it is server may have many incoming requests. So server has to read all the cookies from the browser. So here is the method public array of object, array of cookie objects, and we are saying get cookies. So get cookies is the method which will return you all the cookies from the browser. And this is the method from HTTP request. Add cookie is the method from HTTP response. So here you have to write response.add, and here get cookie is the method of HTTP servlet request. So you need to write request.get cookies, right? Request which is belonging to the client, right? Now look at how we can get it. Okay, sorry, before, yeah, here is how we can get it. So this is the sample code to get all the cookies name and value. We have to, as get cookies is the request HTTP request interface method, we need to use that object request.get cookies. It will return you the array of cookies type. So we are writing cookie object name, and we have done the square bracket, which means it's an array. And now I'm accessing all this array elements, taking a for loop, I is equal to 0 to I less than ck.length. Mind well, length is the attribute of array ck. That's why parenthesis is not done. It's not a method in Java. With array, length is an attribute. So we are writing ck.length I++. And now we are using the get name and get value, and we are printing all those cookies. So we are doing out.println, where out is the print writer class used to set response in the network. We wrote br, we give a concatenation. We say it is ck of I dot get name plus space for the concatenation. I'm writing ck of I dot get value. So it will read all the cookie name and value which we have set inside the browser. Fine. And suppose you don't want that. Suppose you don't want that cookie. Then what you can do is you can write cookie ck is equal to new cookie. The variable which you have created, you have to set it null. You are doing 2 empty parentheses. So this is variable name, and this will give the null value. Finally, we are writing ck.setMax is 0, right? So what it will do is it will change the maximum age to 0 second. And when 0 second, it means no more available. You have to set the max age as 0. And finally, we are writing response dot add cookie. This empty cookie with 0 lifetime and null value in the cookie variable, we are setting back to the client because we have set the variable inside client's machine. And that's why when you are deleting it, you have to delete the value you have to set the value null, as well as you need to set the maximum age as 0. So when you log out from the Sonic wall, actually your lifetime is set as 0. Your lifetime is set as 0, and the value, which is your enrollment number and password, has been removed from the system. Fine. So this empty cookie we are setting back to the browser. So we say response.add cookie. This is blank object with 0 lifetime and null value. Is it clear, everybody? Code blocks are clear? Code blocks are clear? Kindly acknowledge. We have seen how to create cookie, how to delete cookie, and how to get or read the cookies. Should I move forward? Yes or no? Okay. Let us see what we want to do. We want to do this. Look at the diagram. This application I'm going to demonstrate. We'll take a text box and we'll take a submit button. This is a form. Inside that, a text box and a submit button is taken. Now, when user is clicking on go, we are sending user to Servlet 1. And we are welcoming the user. So we know that this username can be welcomed using request.get parameter. You can read the text box value. Now, we have taken another button, another submit button. Now, what happens over here is the second button, which you are seeing on the page, is not a it is new request from the user side, right? It is a new request from the user side, and as it is a new request from the user side, your server will not recognize what it is. Your server is not going to recognize what it is. Fine. So what you need to do is you need to maintain a cookie. So what we will do when user is clicking on the submit button and it goes to the server, before giving this welcome user message to user, we'll create the cookie here. And when we have created the cookie in Servlet 1, when the response welcome user is going, in browser cookie will be set. So next time when user is clicking on go, this is the second request from the user side, right? At that time, we will have request plus cookie, right? And then it will go to the Servlet 2. Here, hello and this username. This username we are reading from the cookie, right? We are going to read it from cookie. Let us see the code. Can you see this index.html? We have taken input type equal to text. We said username. We have taken a submit button labeled as go, and we have redirected it to the Servlet 1. Servlet 1 is my first servlet. Fine. We have do post method, request and response object. We are doing try catch response dot set content type text HTML print writer out response dot get writer. And now in a local variable string n, we are reading the text box. We say request dot get parameter text box name, which is username, and we give a welcome message out.println welcome plus n. Now this program is running at the server side, and now we are creating a cookie. I guess my screen share has gone. Just a second. So I was talking about servlet 1, which is named as first servlet, right? Which is named as first servlet. Now what we are doing is over here we are implementing or overriding the do post method. Okay. Now we have taken response dot set content type text HTML, right? We have taken print writer object out to set the response. So we said response dot get writer. Now in a local variable string n, we are reading the text box. We said request dot get parameter and username is our text box name. We are printing welcome plus n. Okay. And now we are creating a cookie object. This is up till this, your program is running on the server and we are trying to give all this as a response. So when we are going to give the response, which is this, your second with the second go button, right? At that time, you are adding the cookie also. So you said cookie ck is equal to new cookie. We said username, uname is n, right? Username is n. And we said response dot add cookie. And this will be added in the response. Fine. Finally, we have taken a form. We mentioned action is equal to servlet 2, method is post. We said input type is equal to submit, button labeled as go, right? So when user will have welcome plus n, which is coming through request.get parameter, but along with that, a cookie is also set in the browser. So next time when user is clicking on go and goes to servlet 2, this time request is not going along having the you can say it is having the cookie also in it. So server can read those cookies and identify that this user is not a new user, it's an old user, right? Right. So right now what we did, response plus cookie, this we have done. Now when user will click on the go button second time and will request for servlet 2, this time request will go with the cookies also. So server will read it and identify that this is old user. So look at servlet 2. What we did over here is we have servlet 2 as second, and we had a do post method with request and response object of HTTP servlet request response interfaces. We set the content, we taken a print writer object, and now we are reading the values. So what we are doing is cookie ck is equal to request dot get cookies. So as this is the array, but we have right now set only single cookie in the browser, which is uname, right? Right. So that's why we are saying out dot println hello plus ck0 dot get value. So whatever you have entered in the text box, this is your index.html. In the text box username, suppose you have entered any name, suppose Taru, it will go to the first servlet and it will print it welcome Taru, because and now that Taru has been set as a cookie variable uname. Cookie variable uname, right? And it is added back to the browser. Second time when user is clicking on go, it will go to the second servlet, and here we are trying to get the cookies from the browser. So uname is there in the browser holding the value Taru. So when I say ck0, I'm talking about uname. When I say ck0.get value, I'm talking, or it will print my name Taru. Fine. Is it clear, guys? Any question, any doubt? Anyone? Anyone having any question, any doubt? If you have any question, you can ask a query now. Are you understanding how the second time user is getting recognized? This is how we maintain a session. From one page to another page, we pass the variable. And passing the variable in order to identify the user is known as session tracking. So suppose I'm entering my name. This is index.html, right? When I click on go, it will go to servlet 2, and it will create an object and it will set give me in my browser with the help of response.add query. So Taru will be taken inside a cookie variable uname. So this is coming from cookie variable uname, right? Request.get parameter it is coming and then it is set. Right now this is coming from request.get parameter, this Taru. But later it has added in the same program to the response as a cookie variable uname. So second time when I click on the go button and after hello, whatever coming is coming from cookies. Fine. So a state management is as the HTTP protocol is stateless, but you see that state means data. Here from the one page we have taken data on the second page. From second page we have taken data on the third page. And now if you would have taken the further link on each and every page, you will find that variable value. So that is called session tracking. It will make you connected session. The request and response which are happening on a server from a single user side to make the, or to maintain or to identify that user, we are maintaining the cookie variables. Up till now, any doubt, any question, everyone? You can look at the code one more time. This is index.html. This is your first servlet where we created a cookie. And this is second servlet where we have read the cookies. Any doubt, any query? Anyone? Kindly acknowledge. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Uday Rise is saying no, ma'am. Michelle is saying clear. Okay. Fine. But I see more than 45 students. Okay. Rudri says no, ma'am. Fine. So if we summarize. Okay. If we summarize today's session, what we learn? We learn that session tracking is required because your HTTP is stateless. And that's why it does not maintain the state in the sense data of an user. And that's why each request is considered as a new request. Fine. So to solve this problem, we do have session tracking. So session tracking, or you can say maintaining the data of user, which is session management, is done through 4 different techniques. From that, today we discuss cookies. We said cookies are 2 types, persistent and non-persistent. Fine. And we said cookie is a small piece of data and it would be saved inside the cache of browser, client's browser, right? And we discussed that non-persistent is single session cookie, whereas persistent is multi-session cookies. And we discussed that advantage of cookie is to maintain, it's a simplest technique and it is saving the data at the client side. And disadvantage is if browser is disabled for cookie, code will not work. And we can save only text-based information. Along with that, we have seen the constructors, parameterize and default. We discussed there are 5 important methods, which is set max age, which takes the expiry as in time availability of the cookie in the seconds. And we have get name, set name, and get value set. And then we have seen the code block, how we can add, get, and delete the cookies. Fine. We seen a demonstration to read the user name from page to page using cookies. Okay. Next session, we are going to discuss about hidden form field, how we can use same to achieve the same functionality of session tracking, as well the URL rewriting and HTTP session. So same example will rewriting and hidden form field will work. If time permits, then in next session we will also discuss about HTTP session class to maintain the session. Fine. So that's it from my end. Anyone having any doubt or query up till now? Right? Should I close the session for today? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. I again suggest read properly. Your meet is nearby, and all these things are there in your mid semester examination. And I uploaded one Word file. Have you seen it? As well in your all the links of first 3 units, YouTube links with the topic. So you can see the PPT, and if you feel there is some doubt, you can watch the video also.